At the beginning of January this month, I started to notice something at the gym. I started to notice new faces, more activity, a little louder. Today's the 15th of January, so halfway through the month. And last night when I went to the gym, I noticed that those new faces were gone. Now, as time kind of went on, the last 2 weeks, those new faces became less and less. But yesterday they were all gone. To me, what this shows me is that people get motivated for a whole lot of different reasons. Uh, you know, New Year's is the big thing, obviously, but there's a difference between being motivated and being driven. I want to talk about how to turn motivation into drive. If you don't know, this is what I look like at the beginning of 2025. So a year has passed, and in that year, um, I made radical changes. I didn't get motivated out of a New Year's resolution. In fact, I didn't start my weight loss journey until February. So, in a little less than a year, I've lost over 162 pounds and I'm still going. My weight loss has slowed down a little bit, but the last 10% is always the hardest, right? But this diet, this lifestyle change, this health and wellness journey has been different from any other times that I've tried to do it in the past. And really, what I've just come down to is it boils down to mindset. Now, I've talked a little bit about mindset in other videos, and I feel like I need to do a deeper dive. To me, motivation, well, it goes away. It's great for starting something, but it's not great for long term success. And look, the reason why is, you know, motivation at the end of the day is a feeling. You get inspired, you want to be better, you get this feeling of, I can do it. But feelings change from moment to moment, day to day, hour to hour. And so for me, when I look back at all those other times that I tried to go on a diet, I started off motivated, but I didn't have the drive to continue. So, how do you get that drive? In my opinion, it starts off with your goals. I did not start this journey with a particular weight goal in mind. My goals were actually very, very simple. I wanted to get healthier, I wanted to eat better, I wanted to build healthier habits to build a healthier lifestyle. I feel like taking this approach, what it did was it really allowed me to focus on that. I wasn't focused on a number on a scale, not at first. What it also allowed me to do is not pin myself to a plan. Now, let me explain that. I've talked about this in other videos, but I didn't wake up one morning and just change everything radically in my life. No, I made small incremental improvements. So the first thing that I did was I cut out sugary drinks, pop sodas, whatever you want to call them, the mochas, the lattes, basically the flavored coffees. And I went to water and black coffee, something that I still stick to this day. I did that for a week. The next thing I did was I picked a meal, and it was dinner. That was going to be the first meal that I picked. And all dinners after that were going to be, grilled chicken and vegetables, and that's it. And I slowly incorporated that into other meals. Healthier options, healthier choices, and just eating less in general. And then I introduced movement. I mean, obviously at 450 plus pounds, I definitely had some mobility issues. And so I just introduced walking as much as I can day by day. And as time went on, I could walk more, I could do more, and that helped me get into the gym, and that helped me get, when the weather isn't horrible, allows me to go for these long hikes out in nature, which I very, very much missed. That I feel, that mindset, that shift, that's what gave me my drive. Because it wasn't about just hitting a number. It was about sustainability from the get-go. Doing or eliminating things that I knew weren't healthy for me. Now, saying all that, I know I get it. Easier said than done. But I really, really think that if you take a one step at a time approach, it's almost like it force isn't the right word. It's almost like you consciously make the decision that I'm going to make this one good choice and I'm going to keep making it. I'm going to keep making it. And in your mind, subconsciously, it's like, okay, I was successful for that for a week. So let's keep that going. What other healthy choice can I introduce today? So it's kind of like challenging yourself. And to me, for me, that's kind of how I develop my drive to keep going. Now, at some point, you got to evaluate, right? You have to set a goal. And I did set a goal, and my goal is, 250 or bust. Actually, it keeps on bouncing between 250 and 230, but that's neither here nor there. What is important is I've set a goal, I'm going to meet that goal, but I haven't given myself a deadline, a timeline. I'm just going to keep going, making incremental changes. And sometimes I'm going to make a mistake. I've talked about it in the past. Over the fall, I hit a weight plateau. Really kind of worried me, but it shouldn't have because I knew better. But I just had to make some tweaks. I had to make some changes. I'm getting to the point where my weight loss is slowing down, sure. But part of that is I'm not as active as I want to be, mostly because of the weather. And I feel like I don't get the same workout on a treadmill that I do on a hiking path on my non weightlifting days. I'll get back to that routine. But the important thing is I'm still losing little by little. I still feel great. I still have energy. I still sleep good. Even with, I should say, still sleep well for you grammar police out there. And I just kicked the camera. And that's going to stay in because, well, I'm me. So anyway, if you want to do something because you get motivated, great. And I'm going to say this for those of you out there that have already made New Year's resolutions and are already starting to feel that excitement fade, I just want to say it's okay. It's normal. It happens every year, happens to a bunch of people. That doesn't mean you failed. That means what you need to do is you need to turn that initial excitement and you need to turn it into drive. You got to be driven. You got to have a purpose. I said in a video a while ago that, I've changed radically in the last year. I walk with a purpose. I do things with a purpose. This is no different. My purpose, to be healthier. I really feel like if you set your mind out just to get healthier, forget about setting a weight goal at the beginning, just to get healthier. Everything else comes with that. If you're eating healthier, you're making smarter decisions, you're moving more, you're working out more, weight loss is just going to naturally follow. I guess what I'm trying to be I guess what I'm trying to say here is be gentle with yourself. A lesson that, well, something that's been said to me many, many times over the years, and I really haven't taken to heart. Be gentle with yourself. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I didn't get to that overnight. I'm not going to undo it overnight. One step at a time. The first step, turn motivation and excitement into drive. If you do that, nothing can stop you. On that note, I want to get out of here. I want to thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.